Chapter 12. Though I'd been falling asleep to pounding thunderstorms for 3 nights straight, when I woke up on the 4th day, the sky was clear. The land was flooded, leaving the scent of rainwater in the air. When I lifted the window, the whole world around me smelled clean and fresh as clothes from the washing line. Still, it was terrible walking to school when it was wet. The mud got on my shoes and splashed up my legs, making my skin itchy and uncomfortable. Then I had to sit in class all day, unable to do anything about it. There were a few whispers and smothered laughter when I walked down the hall. Some kids started cackling like witches, waggling their fingers to be scary. I pretended to grab at them, and they ran off, screaming, which satisfied me. At lunch, I sat by myself and ate my rice because Susie had been called into the principal's office. I didn't know why, but she said she'd tell me when she got back. After I ate, I took out my root notebook to study what I had written. I was so deep in what I was reading that I didn't hear Letty sneak up. I didn't even know she was there when she dumped an entire thermos full of water on my head. I gasped at the sting of the icy cold water. It soaked me from head to chest, then rolled down my arms to puddle on the floor. I sat there, dripping, wiping water out of my face while she and the others laughed. Shame and anger burned at me, making my skin feel fever hot under the cold water. "Why didn't you melt?" she asked. "Isn't that what happens to witches?" At that moment, it wasn't even Letty's bullying that was bothering me, not on its own. After what had happened a few days ago, I couldn't stop thinking about Dempsey Collins. He might be watching the house Deputy Collins. He might be watching the house at night, setting traps to hurt or kill us. Why was everyone out to get me and my family? We hadn't done anything to anyone. We were trying to survive and to live the best way we knew how. Fiery tears burned the back of my eyes, and I was glad water fell from my face so those girls couldn't see my hurt and anger. "You're the witch, Letty Anderson," I yelled, jumping to my feet. Some of the water dribbling off my face got into my mouth, and I coughed. "You're mean and cruel for no good reason at all." "Enough." One of the teachers on cafeteria duty broke into the crowd of kids that suddenly surrounded us once the commotion started. She stood there between us for a few seconds, sizing us both up. "Jezebel, go see if Miss Corey has a towel. Letty, you mop this spill up right now." I sneezed, then grabbed my book and the rest of my things and ran out of the lunchroom. Maybe I didn't melt on the outside, but inside I felt like I was melting. Did that make me a witch? Was I a witch because the only time I felt good about myself now, like a real whole person, was when I was learning magic? I had a doll that ran around at night, an uncle who brewed potions, and I knew that black peppercorns could be used to protect you or to put a jinx on someone. Maybe those girls at school were right, and I was a witch. Maybe when I got older, I'd grow a huge nose with warts on it. My footsteps echoed in the halls as I made my way to Miss Corey's office for the second time this year. Even the small bag of graveyard dirt and powdered brick I carried in the pocket of my dress was soaked with water. Heavy and thick, it weighed me down as I squished along the hallway. From this moment on, I wasn't going to try to make friends anymore. I would go to school, do my lessons, and come home to learn root. I had bigger problems to think about than some stupid girls. I knocked on the door. "Come in?" I pushed open the door and Miss Corey looked up. When she saw me, a little sound of surprise escaped her mouth. She got up and opened her ceiling-high cabinet. "Come to my desk," she said as she sat back down. When I did, she patted my face and neck with a white towel. It was scratchy and smelled like bleach, but it was clean. The gentle concern on her face and the careful movements of her hands almost made me cry again. "Want to tell me what happened?" she asked, tenderly squeezing the towel around one of my pigtails, then the other. Swallowing my sobs, I told her everything that had happened with Letty. Once I was done, I sneezed twice. "You feel cold. Here are some tissues." She opened a drawer in her desk, and I saw a bottle of Doc's Boss Fix potion sitting inside. Before I could stop myself, I said, "I wrote that label." Miss Corey looked down in her drawer, then back at me. Her face softened, and she pushed back from her desk. The chair moved smoothly and without sound. "Is your uncle teaching you root work, dear heart?" I hesitated, but only for a moment. I wouldn't share my family secrets, but something told me I could trust Miss Corey. I nodded. "Would you like to share anything with me, Jezebel? Are you scared of something? Nervous?" I shook my head. "I'm not scared," I said. "Not exactly." "Tell me then," she said. I could see my reflection in her glasses. Exactly. She already knew about the other kids teasing me. I told her what I had kept inside. I told her about Gran dying and how much I missed her. I told her about how the police pulled root workers out of their homes, beat them, and put them in jail. When I told her I was trying to learn enough root work so that when Deputy Collins came back, I could help Doc protect my family. I told her there were nights I was so tired, but I couldn't sleep. Tears burned my eyes, but I didn't cry. My throat got tight, and I had to swallow hard to keep talking. Finally, I said, I'm not sure I can protect our family, leastways not the way Gran did when she was alive. When I was done speaking, Miss Corey patted my hand. Do you know what stress is? My heart was pounding, my stomach was fluttering like it was full of startled butterflies. I shook my head. It's when you have so much responsibility and so many things to do that you get... Miss Corey stopped while she thought about what to say. You get frustrated and worried that you can't do all these things the way you want to. I tugged at one of my damp pigtails and nodded. That was exactly how I felt. Stress can make you feel sick, even make you lose sleep or get headaches. Do you know what this means for you? That I'm grown up, I asked. Not quite yet. She laughed, and I felt warmer inside. But you're doing things grown-ups do, and it's a lot of weight on your small shoulders. I tilted my chin up high. But I want to do them. I want to learn. Miss Corey leaned closer to me. Do you know why I bought that potion from your uncle? No, ma'am. I shifted in my seat. Because I don't know how to make it. Many years ago, my family used to work the roots, like yours, but before I was born, they made a decision to leave those ways behind. She took off her glasses and cleaned them with the cloth before replacing them. I noticed there was a little brown speck marking the white part of her right eye. So over the years, we forgot the recipes and the stories and the songs. We lost them. You still have them, and that's a special thing to hold on to. Still, she continued, everything you've told me, and being a magical girl on top of that, oh my, what a road you have in front of you. So what do? Learn your magic. And your schoolwork, too. Learn everything you can and become the person you want to be. What if people think, stop right there. One day, you'll have to make some pretty big decisions. And when that day comes, all that will matter is what you think, not anybody else. Best to start practicing now. Her voice held a firmness that made me stand up straighter. Remember, what makes you different makes you special. I thought of the looks the other girls gave me. I don't feel special. Being different is hard, Jezebel, I know that. But you have to learn to accept what makes you different. Most of all, learn to love it. She looked at me, and her eyes seemed small and sharp through the glass of her lenses. That's your power. Don't let anyone take it from you. Be strong and be yourself. Not the person you think everyone will like. Learn your power and learn to use it well. She looked at her watch, scribbled on a notepad, then ripped off the paper. Give this to your teacher, and take care of yourself, Jezebel. Then she patted my shoulder and sent me on my way. When I got back to Miss Watson's classroom, I found that the slip Miss Corey had signed said I should be allowed to go home early. She didn't want me to catch a chill from sitting the rest of the day soaked to the skin, she'd said. After giving a wide-eyed Miss Watson the slip, I ran down the front steps of the school, only slowing when I reached the road. It was sunny and warm, and the shivering chill of the cold water was starting to evaporate. When I got home, something else sent a chill down my back. A police car was parked in front of our house. I snuck in the back, being extra quiet. When I got inside and peeked around the doorframe of Mama's bedroom into the front room, I breathed a bit easier. It was Sheriff Edwards, not Deputy Collins. Sheriff Edwards and Mama were in the front room talking. Or to be specific, arguing. How are we supposed to live? Mama was saying, her voice rising. Do you know what I found on Saturday out back in the marsh? An animal trap. Miss Turner, the sheriff began, but Mama cut right on in. Open and set there, anyone could have stepped on it. One of my children, Sheriff. Only one person I know of will do a thing like that. She paced around the front room while Sheriff Edwards, big and tall as he was, stood in the corner, his hat in his hand. I am so sorry. Don't be sorry. Be about something. Fix this. Mama turned her face up to the ceiling and breathed deep, like she was gasping for air. I'm doing what I can, he said. His voice was gentle, careful. It's not enough. Can't you put Collins in jail or something? I would, but he hasn't done anything I can jail him for. You know what the laws are. Sheriff twisted his hat in his big hands. People like him have been doing this for folks for years, and no one's saying a word. I have to operate within a certain chain of command to even get an investigation of Collins and his cronies started. Mama had sunk down into a chair. She was nodding slowly. I didn't know what a chain of command was, but I could tell what it meant. Sheriff Edwards wanted to help us, but he would have to wait, and that meant we would have to wait. What are we supposed to do until then? Hope he doesn't catch wind of what we're doing and try to hurt one of us? She plucked the strings of her apron, unraveling the thread. I don't suppose you know my husband and Collins had a run-in a while back. The sheriff edged his way closer to Mama and sat across from her. He reached out as if he was thinking to take her hand, then stopped. No, I didn't. The kids were small. I'm sure they don't remember. But Collins came here late one night and roughed him up. I thought I thought he was going to. Mama swallowed hard. My husband left after that night, and I can't say I blame him. I scurried back through the bedroom, through the kitchen, and out the back door. I hurried down the path, my heart beating fast, my head spinning with what I'd seen and heard. Daddy and Deputy Collins had it out one time? Then Daddy left us. He left us because he was afraid of what Deputy Collins might do? No wonder Mama was so hurt and angry. But why would she keep that from me and Jay? I stood under our pecan tree, breathing hard. The rough bark of the tree scratched against my back through my school dress. I tried to figure out what to do, but I couldn't think straight. Should I go in and let Mama know what I heard? That didn't feel right. I let the cool wind blow over my skin. Secrets, protection, Mama's story, and Doc's lessons mixed together in my mind. Then I realized, while Mama didn't work roots, she thought keeping the story about Daddy a secret was protecting us. I didn't understand it, but I knew it, felt it with my intuition. But Mama wasn't the only protector in the family. We all had to protect each other. I started up the path, calling out, Mama, Mama, so she would be sure to hear me. I burst through the front door this time, giving her plenty of time to get herself together. When I got inside, she and Sheriff Edwards were sitting in the front room with the glasses of iced tea, Mama fanning herself with a newspaper. Jess, why are you home at this time? She blinked and stared at my coiled-up hair and wrinkled dress. And what happened to you? I told her what happened, and she looked me over. At the same time, Sheriff Edwards rose. I'd better be on my way now, he said. If anything more happens, please let me know. It can all go in the investigation report. He took up his hat. I'll let myself out. Okay, Sheriff, she said, her voice sounding far away. Our front door closed softly behind him, and as soon as it did, Mama spoke again. Who is the horrible child that did this? Letty, of course. I told her the story as best I could without letting all the hurt and anger I felt earlier come back right on back. My fist tightened as I told it. Oh, Lord. How you feeling, Jess? I'm fine. Just mad at how stupid kids are. Go change your clothes and hang your dress up on the clothesline. She hugged me tightly, and I snuggled close. Bring your hair things when you come back, and you can have a cup of hot tea while I redo your pigtails. I changed into dry clothes and took the bag of graveyard dust and powdered bricks, still heavy with water, out of my dress pocket. I set it on the windowsill to dry, along with my bracelet Doc had woven back together after I saved the wolf. I grabbed the small plastic bucket Mama kept my hair things in, pomades, combs, barrettes, and knockers. I set it on the front chair next to me and sipped tea with honey and cinnamon while Mama loosened my hair, then oiled and combed and brushed it as gently as she could. Did you already sell out everything at your market stall? I asked. Yes, I was home and Sheriff Edwards stopped by to give me some information. What sort of information? That's best kept between adults, was all she said. She leaned over to look at me and saw me pouting. Jess, you know why I sometimes tell you certain things are for grown-ups, don't you? I shrugged and focused on my empty cup. Because you don't want me to know those things? Not only that, I have a duty, a responsibility as your mother to keep you safe. Just like Doc tells you to protect yourself, I'm supposed to protect you and your brother. She stood up and refilled my cup with hot water. To me, that means I have to protect all parts of you, your body, your mind, and your heart. And there are some things I don't think you're ready to know. Not just yet, okay? She smoothed her hands down each of my pigtails, the signal she was finished doing my hair. I knew Mama was right. She already had so much to worry about that I wanted to let her think I didn't know the story about Daddy. Okay, I said. I'm glad we got that settled, she said, kissing my forehead. That's when Jay came sprinting in the door. Jess, you okay? After school, Susie told me what happened to you at lunch, so I ran home. Mama looked grateful for the interruption. If you're both home, why don't you two play outside for a bit? I need to do a few things before I get dinner started. Yes, ma'am, we said. Jay changed into his play clothes in a blink, and we ran out the door. Did Susie really tell you what happened? I asked once we were a little ways from the house. Yeah, she said to tell you she was sorry she wasn't there when it happened. He grinned. I think she would have knocked that girl's lights out. I couldn't help but smile at the idea of someone wanting to fight for me. Maybe she would have. Did she say if she might come by to check on me? I asked hopefully. Nope. I asked if she wanted to, but she said she needed to get home or something. We walked a bit longer, enjoying the warm afternoon, and I realized we were heading towards the marsh. Do you think we need to worry about any more traps out here? I asked. Jay slowed down. I don't know. I think we'll be okay if we keep our eyes open. Yeah, I nodded. Maybe you're right. I'm more scared of the things we can't see, he added. I was thinking about that too, but the marsh is our home, I said. It has ingredients we use in root work. It's where we get some of our food. We can't stay away forever. Come on, I race you." Jay grinned at that, and we took off, watching our footsteps as we did.